today we have Game of the States board. Why do we have Game of the States board? Well, Game of the States is a fun game. It's easy to play, really. You really only need 2 chips and a little car vehicle type figure. What you do in it, well, you really also need a card for every state, which we don't have that. We don't have that card. That's because I have extra copies of the Game of the States. I might actually do a couple of Game of the States videos later. But at first I was using this map to do my game that I created called the Civil War. There's hundreds of Civil War games out there probably. I don't know how many there are. Anyway, this might help people with their state location thing. Maybe. This video could help. We got Alaska, Hawaii. We got New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and that's the things. And these are industries at the time of 1960. These industries may be a little different now, but these were what each state had the most of. Anyway, that's just beside the point. That's what I did was I created a Civil War game. I just entitled it simply The Civil War. And I just simply used a map of the United States. And I divided some territories, like for example Texas, into 2. And I combined some territories. For example, here I have Pennsylvania and New Jersey as one territory. And I have these like 5 states here, like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I have all that as one territory. One. Then I also added a little spot here, and a little spot here, and I was probably should have added a little spot here, but maybe the ocean's in the way. I don't know, whatever. But you can own a little bit of Canada in here. And you can own a little bit of Mexico. So Texas can decide to attack Mexico. I just thought maybe that's a little cool twist. Maybe you'll start the war 1812 back up during the because maybe the British will support. Like in the actual game I have called the American Civil War, there's an option to bring Europe into the fray because they support the South or they don't like the North for some reason. Anyway, it's beside the point. I have it set up as a 2 to 4 player game. It's going to be obviously mostly a 2-player game. Most of them, which will be blue and gray. The 4 players are red, yellow, gray, and blue. Just use risk pieces. It's simple. Just use risk pieces. Or pieces from other games, like the American Civil War, for example. Anyway, I created the 4-player rules, and maybe I wrote some 2-player rules too, I don't remember. In the 4-player rules, the territories, each player gets 11. The Confederates get Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida, and North Texas. That would be this part of Texas, because this is South Texas. I probably should have write N and S on there to distinguish between them. The Union side gets that 5-state territory here I was talking about. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia. That would be here. This is one state. Or one territory. Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and Wisconsin. The Native Americans, or the British folks, they get in this game we have we haven't had westward expansion yet, and maybe the Louisiana Purchase wasn't really bought or whatever, and we hadn't had westward expansion yet. So the British and the Native Americans are sort of working together. The British are sort of helping the Native Americans because France wants to claim it or something. I don't know. It might be French Native Americans, whatever. Anyway, we have Canada, which is the Quebec here, this black line. Which also includes this, I think. All this is one area. Maybe I should have put it here. I don't know if that's... But I digress. They also have in their possession Oklahoma, Wyoming, Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, North and South Dakota, Montana, and Colorado. So they have pretty much the Midwestern states here, for the most part. Now, Mexico and France, because at the time Mexico was having revolutions in France and stuff, they also get 11 territories. Their 11 territories were Chihuahua, or however you pronounce that, and Coahuila, the 2 Mexican territories. They also get Arizona, California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, New Mexico, and South Texas. So they have this. France and Britain have this, while Britain and Canada have this. I was just trying to make it even, so by trying to make it even, I didn't really think of the political and historical aspects of who should theoretically have these properties, because theoretically, now that I think about it, Louisiana Purchase was most of this area, so it looks like France should own the properties Britain owns, and nobody should own the properties France owns. And Canada is French, Canadian now, so... But I digress. Whatever. When I played the American Civil War, and the war breaks out, and you're allowed to move the troops, add Europe, the French forces are put down in Mexico, and the British forces are put up in Canada. So I was just going with that and trying to make every property even, having 11 territories. Which, if you do the math, 4 times 11 is 44. It's not 50 states. There's 44 territories. And this basically plays sort of kind of like Risk, where it's like a winner-take-all type deal. Unless, of course, I wrote some rules about how to win. But in the 2-player territories, the Union gets, just for the sake of argument, they both get 5 extra territories. And if it's not used, you don't use it. The Union's extra territories is, I'll give them to Canada. Theoretically, in this game, I guess they won the War of 1812, and they got that little area of Canada right here as a prize, whatever. They get North and South Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So they get these extra 5 here. These extra, and again. the Confederates extras, now they get South Texas. They get the 2 Mexican territories. But they get the 2 Mexican territories as 1 territory. So in a 2-player game, these are not 2 territories, they're 1 territory. They get to choose. So interesting enough that they get to choose 3, 4, and 5 because I gave them 2 options. So in this particular case, Kansas, they get Kansas or Colorado. Either Kansas, Indian tribes. Kansas was an Indian territory for a while. So either the Indians in Kansas support the Confederacy and they get them, or the Confederacy goes westward and gets Colorado. Then they either get New Mexico or Montana. New Mexico is here, and Montana's here. More than likely, the Confederacy, if they owned Mexico, would probably more than likely own New Mexico too, on the grounds that Texas would have become an independent nation, conquered parts of Canada. Canada. Yeah, Texas conquered parts of Canada. No, conquered parts of Mexico, and New Mexico never became a state, but it, became. See, some of these states have names that we have now, but they wouldn't have had these names if this Civil War and they wouldn't have had these names of certain things that had happened. These names wouldn't have been called. Now, they also get a choice of Wyoming or Nebraska. Wyoming is here and Nebraska is here. So their idea is that the Confederacy, for some reason, some Western people who went west supported the Confederacy. Now, I just picked those because what the heck, why not? Now, that leaves these going west areas and the ones they don't pick blank. Now, I wrote that you leave them unoccupied. Now, I'm not sure if I wrote in rules where you could actually go in and occupy those, but I did write leave them unoccupied. Now that I'm thinking about it, you should be able to conquer unoccupied territories by just moving in and maybe putting a neutral faction on the unoccupied territories. That, though, leaves the war on Confederacy going westward and fighting random tribes, and that kind of makes it where the Confederacy has a 2-part war where they can go this way to try to get more territories, and then they're leaving their actual main southern flank open if they do that. Now, the starting troops for the 4-player game will be 40. 3-player will be 45, 2 will be 50. Second rule I have is you got to keep 1 troop per territory. 1 army occupies, and there's no maximum number of troops per territory. The third one is the reinforcements. You skip the first turn because you're putting all these men on the territory. Now, in a 3-player game, 1 player either can choose Mexico or Canada. I forgot to write that down, but and then the other Mexico or Canada is a neutral faction. So it can be attacked, just like any other neutral faction. Now, instead of... I created an interesting concept here where risk, you're always granted 3 troops. Even if you have 1 territory. I thought that was dumb. But in Risk, you have to have 3 rounded up or rounded down to get 1 army. Well, I did it 1 troop per every 2 territories for the first 5 turns. The longer the war reigns, I created a longer the war reigns, the less armies are joining your fight. So after the first 5 turns, because just like in the real Civil War, a lot of people joined it first. Then they had to start conscripting. So after the first 5 turns are over with, I went 1 troop per for the remainder of the game. Now I'm thinking about it. I should probably have 10 more turns and then go to 1 troop for every 10 territories for the remainder of the game. But the game might be over before it gets too far. Now the turn order or procedure. Turn order is what most write. I don't know why I wrote procedure. Order is you get your troops or your reinforcements. You draw a Civil War card. You fight, which is attack, and you reconfigure or fortify. I was wanting to add some Civil War cards, but I never got around to making the Civil War cards. So we could skip number 2 if you could skip number 2 if you want to do this game, or you can make some Civil War cards, which I don't even remember what I was going to do with Civil War cards. So that was something I was thinking about, and then I was like, never got around to doing it. So just skip to draw the Civil War card thing. The fighting procedure is you roll 1 die, green die for attack, and you can attack that many territories this turn. Unlike Risk, where you got unlimited attacks, you roll a green d6, and that's an attack die. That determines how many places you can attack. And then you attack like standard Risk rules. Basically, you have to have 3 troops to attack, 1 to defend. You can use up to 5 dice when attacking. Three dice for attacking, 2 for defending. So there's 5 dice being thrown by the players. But the third thing is I had presidents and generals added to this game. A general they add a +1 in attack or defense. If your president is present, which would be your president and your vice president, because you'll get your president and vice president. If they're present during the battle, you'll get +1 in defense. And if a general is present in the battle, which you'll get like 3 of those, you'll get +2. I've just changed the President and General rules from what I wrote by what I said. Now you can, you can buy them. That's it. You can have a maximum of 2 presidents and 5 generals, but you start off with 1 president and 2 generals. So you get to buy your vice president, and you can buy 3 more. And you can have a general and a president on the location, but you can't have 2 generals on the same location, and you can't have 2 presidents on the same location. And I forgot how you was going to purchase them, but a general is worth... They're like troops. They die. They die when they're the last man standing on a property. maybe we can create some kind of capture-ish rules that if you capture a general, you can trade him with your opponent or whatever. But I had a president rule where if your president got killed, like he was in a battle and you conquered the area and the president was the last man standing and he died, you would have to give up 10 other troops all over the board to your opponent who killed the president. That represents troops that are defecting and going toward the enemy because they have lost faith in the cause of the war. That's basically what that's about. So I'm thinking, since you gotta lose 10 troops if your president or general dies, maybe it costs you 10 armies to buy a general. Nah, I'm not sure. Or maybe the generals, you're supposed to get free generals and a free vice president during the Civil War cards. That's probably what the Civil War cards were about. Civil War cards were probably going to have stuff like get an extra territory to attack. Special missions like if you take a certain city because or this turn gain a bonus amount of troops, or that the Civil War cards are going to do something like that. So anyway, that's just my attempt to make a Civil War game. Wow, this is a long video. Thank you for 201 subscribers. Thank you for watching my videos, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing them, posting them on your social media accounts, whatever. I enjoy doing these, and if there's things you would like to see, comment them down below. I do all kinds of board games and video games, and I'm just glad I have 200 subscribers. I mean, I started this thing going, nah, I'm just going to do this for fun. And for, fun. And for fun. And to see what happens. Now that I'm getting up there in subscribers, I'm thinking, hey, that's cool. Subscribers are cool. They're my friends. They're my buddies. What would you do to improve this game, by the way? You can comment down below that. I mean, I was thinking of something to do is like add like a naval thing for this Gulf of Mexico. And this little ocean here. And the lakes here. And maybe the rivers. See the rivers? Some of these major rivers. Like we have the Mississippi River. Maybe we could add a ocean system or a river system. What do y'all think about that? That's interesting. What would you do to improve? And if you were to make a Civil War game, what would you do to make a Civil War game? This was done probably when I was younger, so it was just attempted at a makeshift game. And I played it a few times, and it plays kind of basically like Risk, because I never established a victory condition. Which, obviously, the victory condition would be, for the North, would be to eliminate all of the Confederate player. That would be an obvious victory condition. For the Hispanics, the Mexicans, the French, the obvious victory condition would be, I don't know, take the Midwestern territories. Maybe Canada's, British's mission would be take back the southern part. So Canada and France would be fighting each other, basically, in the Western theater over here. That would be maybe what they would do. basically, essentially, France's mission would be eliminate Britain. Britain's mission would be eliminate France. And the South's mission would be either take over all of the North by killing all the North, or stay in the game for a allotted period of time, or something like that. And maybe we could make Mexico's condition something different. Maybe we could make British's condition something different. Maybe Britain wants to get revenge on the United States and take, I don't know, the 13 colonies back, which some of them are now part of the South. So that would be kind of interesting. Maybe Mexico wants to take the Louisiana, France wants to take the Louisiana Purchase back, which some of those are part of the Confederate forces now. Others are part of for some reason, are part of the British Empire because well, not really the British Empire, but working with the British Empire. They're Indians, Native Americans, whatever. Something of that nature. I know this is a long video. It's kind of like a vlog too, because of I'm making it, I guess. So seriously, what do y'all think? I mean, for an attempt at making a game, and again, I didn't write the date of when I made this. But it's been sitting in there for a while, so it's kind of old. I think I made this game when I was like a teenager or something. This game is probably over 10 years old. And it's just really been sitting up in the attic. Because I believe I made this game before I made the other one I'm going to do. I made this one before I made the other one I'm going to do, which is going to be my actual 200 subscriber special. But I guess I'm going to do more than one 200 subscriber specials. So that's cool. What? Matter of fact, I'm just going to show you a little bit of it now. I'll just show you something else. This is when I was trying to do a moving company thing. I actually had this on my truck for a while. Had my phone number on it. And I got maybe like 2 or 3 calls. And I made a little bit of money, but I didn't have that truck anymore. And this is kind of what I was doing when I had a vehicle. When I had a vehicle, I had trucks. I actually had this on my vehicle and was trying to make money. I probably shouldn't have wrote company on it because officially I wasn't registered as a company. So kind of maybe illegal, I'm not sure. But as you can tell, I'm just an entrepreneur. I try to do stuff to make money and it doesn't seem to work. You know who else tried to do stuff to make money and didn't work? My grandpa. Yes, that is right. My grandpa. My grandpa tried to make money and it didn't work. If you saw my last video, you saw this cool Monopoly game I made. Yeah, my grandpa was a entrepreneurial. Here's the binder that has the rules and synopsis of the game. Here is a risk box that has the pieces to American Conquest, the game I made. You will see it in the next video. So stay tuned for my 201 subscriber special. Because I got 201 scrubs now. Whoop whoop. Risk is obviously, for some reason, one of my favorite games. I like every edition that they come out with. I would like to have every edition that they come out with. They need to come out with more editions. I could do it for them. Hire me, please, Hasbro. Shout out to Hasbro. They need to start hiring folks like me. Or USAopoly or somebody, please hire me. I would just to make risk games because I'd make I could make one in no time at all. I could make other special edition games or whatever. Anyway, remember, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Jesus loves you. Jesus is God. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Keep on gaming. And game on. Build on. Create on. Subscribe on. Watch on. And like on of all my videos. And just, have fun. Be cool. Stay in school. I don't know, just random. I'm just random ramblings. Anyway, that's enough. I was going to just see if I could keep random rambling until I went to 33 minutes and then it goes to the next video. And then I could film this video. But, do y'all want me to ramble for another 2 minutes? Do you? Maybe? Yes? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat that question? Okay, I'll give you a little hint of it. Just a little hint of it. It's Risk! Ha! Tricked ya! Trick or treat, no. Here's a little hint of it. The board map. Whoa, what is this board map? What's going on here? You'll have to find out on the next video. And here's something else I made with a Monopoly board. It's just a map of island territories. It's like a little parent game that I created. And here is another map. This map is bigger. This map has more territories. So we have a simple and a non-simple. And what is this? Look at all these dice. Man, there's a lot of white dice and red dice. Well, different colors. Wait, what? They got battleship ships? There's airplanes? There's basic army units? What's going on in this game? You will find out in the next video when I show you American Conquest. Created, designed, everything by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Hal Scarborough. Later, guys and gals. Later.